a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And we are blessed and highly favored. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here in the Consumer Quarterback Show studio, helping you win in any marketplace. That is our goal. And we do that by bringing on all types of great expert contributors, 80 different categories, top consumer advocates here in Tampa Bay. And we have awesome interviews with them and talk about things that can help affect your daily life, help you save time and money when it comes to your buying decisions, make you more street smart, and avoid a lot of the commission-based advice and scams out there. Quite frankly, today's day and age, we see a lot of scams. So we're helping people in a lot of different ways. So appreciate you spending some time with us here. We got Dr. Doug Arvanitis in studio with us, Pro Health. We're going to talk about spinal decompression. He's going to go into that with us as well, general health. Also going to be talking with Alex BlackBelt Lima in the house as well, self-defense expert, as well as Alex Ritchie in studio with us as well. Mold Solutions, got a great lineup for you on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Want to remind you about our event coming up. We've got our third Thursday event, June 20, 6 o'clock. So it's this Thursday, June 20, 6 o'clock, over at Brio Tuscan Grill. That's the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Come on over and join us. Going to have some great networking, fellowship, great time to just come on out and join us and have some food. We got some appetizers, got a drink sponsor as well for the first 20 people coming in. Brio Tuscan Grill, that's the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show as well. Longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Apps provided. And third Thursday, we like to meet our audience. So come on out, bring your business cards, talk to our team, and we'd love to meet with you there as well. So Alex Lima, we always have a good time at these parties, man. A lot of fun, right?
Yeah, buddy. Is there such thing as a bad party?
I know, right?
Especially when you're with us.
Yeah, exactly. Not with the QB team.
No, always Papi Chulos, right?
That's right. Yeah, Papi Chulos. I learned a new word. Talking with Orestes de Strada. I learned some new words.
What a good guy, huh? They were awesome.
Really cool. Yeah, it was awesome to meet him and just a legend in the sports game. Yeah. And Doug, speaking of legends, you work with a lot of legends in your location there in South Tampa. A lot of athletes over the years.
We have 27 years, 23 different sports: NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, boxing, mixed martial art. You name the sport.
Yeah. Yep. Some big names fighting. Some of the big
names.
Fight games, and I remember bringing Ken Shamrock over there when he was in town with me, and just
and the Iceman, Chuck Liddell's been in there.
Chuck Liddell, the Iceman. Yeah, it's interesting to see, man. It's pretty cool too to see Donald Trump when he goes to those UFC fights. The crowd just like roaring when he's coming through there. People know who the real champion is, the real fighter.
They do. We need to get him in my office.
There we go. Let's get him in. DJT in the office. Let's do that. And Dana as well, Dana White. All right, so coming up, Dr. Doug Arvanitis. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We always feature our properties on air. Our strategy works. You know, it helps us sell our real estate properties faster for more money, maximizing the exposure on the sale of your real estate listings. Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. All right, a couple of hot listings here. I got a bar for sale. Let's start with this one. This is a unique opportunity. You've got a bar for sale out in Plant City. This one's on US Highway 92. It's 5402 West US Highway 92. Finish Line Saloon. We got a bar for sale. So this one has the COP license. So if you're not familiar, that one allows you to sell packaged liquor through the drive-through. So you can sell the packaged liquor. You can have parties and events off location. So this is a turnkey bar, making a lot of money. Cash cow here at Highway 92 in Plant City. Great opportunity. All right, 6101 Bayside Drive, Newport Ritchie. Another $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife Lindsay and I own a top 100 team. This one's 6101 Bayside Drive, Newport Ritchie. It's right on the water. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3852 square feet, quarter-acre lot, lush palm trees, stainless steel appliances, open concept. Too many updates and upgrades to mention here at this property, but it's 6101 Bayside Drive, Newport Ritchie. Access to the Gulf of Mexico, beautiful pool home, corner lot location, and you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, Dr. Doug Arvanitis back in studio, longtime friend of the show, longtime friend as well, known you for many, many years. What are you seeing out there? What's going on in health and nutrition out there for people?
There's all kinds of things that are going on, but what we're doing right now, well, we've been doing it since 2016, is we're taking a non-surgical approach to bulging and herniated discs and giving people their lives back. It's the number one approach. It's 90% effective. and it's very comfortable, no pain whatsoever. And within 10 weeks or less than that, we're bringing them back when they've been told they need surgery or they're never going to be able to do their sport again or whatever. We actually had an NFL player, which will remain completely nameless. We talked about this before.
Okay.
He, in the offseason, herniated a disc, a severely herniated disc in his lumbar spine, came crawling into my office.
Wow.
So he had 3 weeks before camp started, and we put him on the spinal decompression table twice a day. Twice a day, because we only had 3 weeks with him, and he made the 53-man roster and then played for a couple more years in the NFL.
Wow, that's a success story if I ever heard one. How much? Now, just a general question, like how much misinformation or bad information, or what I like to call it, especially in the finance space, you get this commission-based advice for, especially on the financial advisors, and there's a lot of points hidden in some of these different fees. But how much bad advice or misinformation, bad advice would you say is in the medical industry? For example, you have to have a surgery, and then people get that second opinion, and it's like, actually, you could do this. You don't have to go right to surgery.
There's a fair amount of it. You got to remember, how does a surgeon make his money? Doing surgery.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How does a chiropractor make their money? Doing adjustments and trying to be as healthy as possible. But I see it in our industry too.
See ya.
We have these guys that will try and sell you on the very first day that you need X amount of visits over the next year. How do I know these patients going to need 77 visits? It's going to cost $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I don't know that on the first time. Everyone's different. We don't do cookie cutter care plans.
Yep.
It's based upon the individual, the injury, their activities, their nutrition, their flexibility, all these different aspects.
Yep.
We make a care plan specifically for that person.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about preventative? What's some of your best advice in terms of preventative health?
Number one, stretching. You got to stretch. I stretch every day, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah.
So the flexibility's got to be there. Other prevention, nutrition, good sleep, water, things like that.
Yeah, getting more sleep. The older I get, I guess it's starting a family too, man. I go to bed early these days, man. I don't even want to say how early. It's a little bit embarrassing sometimes, but if some days you're just like, you know what, I'm going to bed, and you got to get that rest. And one of the things I love too is this hot yoga, man. I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now. And just stretching, it's got the flexibility, it's got the strength aspect of it, and you can hardly breathe in there sometimes when it's so hot, especially this time of year with the humidity in the air.
Right. I made the mistake of going to a hot yoga class for my very first yoga class, and it was an advanced one. Why I did it, I have no clue. But it was exactly what you said. It was very challenging. Everyone else in there is doing great. I'm trying to just remember the very first move, and they're on the 10th move, and just sweating like crazy. Yeah. So it was fun, but hot yoga. I got to start off a little bit slower next time.
Yeah, hot yoga and cold shower afterwards. I love it, and I miss working out with Alex though, man. I tell you, there's no workout like an MMA workout, Alex. When some of the stuff we would do with the kickboxing, the jiu-jitsu, you come out of there. It's a whole new level.
Yeah, it's been proven. We've worn heart rate monitors, and my workouts burn minimum 1,000 calories. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, you know who I used to train with before I met you, and I used to do 5-minute rounds with him, and I was in the best shape of my life. It was incredible.
I can't imagine a 5-minute round.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I get winded after like 60 seconds. I'm like tying my shoe. Hey, let me tie my shoe real quick. My shoe came untied.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do in high school wrestling a lot.
They find little ways to like catch your breath and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's impossible to do in the advanced classes anyways. When someone's trying to punch you in the face, you can't go. Let me tie my shoe real quick. Yeah.
Time out. Like my shoe. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Yeah, exactly. If you just joined us, we're talking with Dr. Doug Arvanitis here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and he owns Pro Health. Talk to us about your location right here on Del Mabry.
Well, we're at 502 South Del Mabry Highway. Brand new office, beautiful, and it's very centrally located.
Yeah, great location, just south of the 275 there. So just about, a half a mile down?
It's a little bit more than half a mile, but it's 5 blocks south of Kennedy.
5 blocks south of Kennedy. There you go.
Updated location as well. You're in the newer spot now.
Yeah, we call it a new building since we took the roof off, every door and window out, and we started from there.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome.
That's great. That's great. Now, I know you got a hard out. Are you good on time still? Got a minute or two, couple minutes?
A couple minutes.
All right, so let's see. I wanted to also ask, when you look at the different parts of the body, what is one of the parts of the body that you need to maintain the most, or at least be conscious of?
Well, your spine. I mean, our dentist tells us to brush our teeth every day for a reason, for prevention.
Yeah.
And what do we do for our spine? Our brain and spinal cord is the two most important organs in the entire body.
Got it.
And we don't do anything for that. So we need to maintain that first, because the brain and spinal, that controls your teeth. It controls everything.
Right.
So we should do a little bit more with that.
Yeah. And I think also as you're aging too, there's things that happen from a mental perspective.
Aging? We're aging?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, the only one
Can't
I know
stop
that's
that
really
one.
aging. Biden? Should we get into that?
Yeah, there you go.
No, I had to.
I know.
I had to.
Yeah, the walking scarecrow or whatever.
What about Keith Richards? Barely walking. The Rolling Stone, Keith Richards. That guy's immortal, right?
He's got a lot of preservatives in him.
Yeah, he's got a lot of something in him.
Preservatives. I like that. Preservatives. Yeah. So and I also think too, it's a combination of things. Like I look forward to my weekly massage. I get the massage, and then the chiropractic adjustments. I go over a couple times a month and get a adjustment from Dr. Doug Arvanitis, Pro Health. When you look at overall health today too, do you think there's a little bit of a push towards drugs too early? From a pharmaceutical side, do you see that as well?
Well, that's not just today. That's been our entire life.
But it seems like it's progressively getting worse, though, doesn't it?
The pharmaceutical companies, if you can't turn the TV on without having a pharmaceutical advertisement
Exactly.
every break, at least one, if not the entire thing.
That's right.
So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's how they make their money.
Yeah, they do.
If they had a cure for that disease,
Right.
then they would make less money.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and we do have the cure. We have the cure. It's eating right. It's eating organic. It's eating healthy. It's eating salads.
Going to your chiropractor and your personal trainer.
There you go.
There you go.
punching somebody in the face every now and then.
It's all part of the game, guys. You got to
Stress
do
relief.
it.
That's stress relief right
Stress
there.
relief, exactly.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
doubt.
Exactly. Yeah, stress relief right there. And it's interesting too when you look at the MMA stuff too, man. It's not always. And Alex, we've talked about that. It's not the biggest brutal guy that you'd say, man, that guy's. Whoa, I don't want. I mean, it could be the guy he weighs 180 pounds and but he technically knowledge. He'll grab your wrist, he'll grab your elbow, and he'll put you in a submission.
100%. I think we've talked about this before. I had a great talk with a kid actually last night that I was training. He's got an upcoming fight, but I've typically throughout when I've competed been the smallest person in my division.
Right.
I'm one of the smaller guys. It's not about that. It's about, and I always say I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to say that physicality, being strong, being explosive does not come into play.
Sure.
But I said this not too long ago on the show. All sports at the highest level. Let's talk NFL, let's talk NBA, whatever. Well, when you reach the pinnacle of that, right, isn't everybody strong, fast, and explosive?
Sure.
So then what's the difference maker then? Where do your superstars come out? The
Mental.
know-how of the game, the technical knowledge, your understanding of the science and how to apply it.
Yeah.
So why not focus on that first if that's in the long run going to negate everything else, right? But especially when we come to fighting, like size means very little. I don't brag a lot about stuff that I've done, but I mean I think you've been there in the room when I've I'm choking out guys that are 250 pounds, they got 180 pounds on me, whatever it is, and it's relatively effortless, just because I understand the game better than they do.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like when you look at I started wrestling in middle school, and then I went into the freshman and went to state. But when the next move and you can counter that move, it's all about that timing. It's almost like a chess game, but it's
chess not
fast.
checkers. Chess not checkers.
Yeah, it's moving fast. Final thought, Dr. Doug Arvanitis. Final thought back to you.
Well, I agree with you. With all of our athletes that we do, we don't just treat the body, and this is what makes us so different, is we treat the mind too. So we do the support psychology along with the physical side of it, and that's what gets our athletes back to their sport faster than anybody else.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and you can equate that to business and sales too. The more that you focus on gratitude, you focus on what you're grateful for, things that you want to attract in your life, the more that you're able to. I do simple things like incantations.
Positive energy.
Still do some of the old incantations. You heard me start the show with it. I'm blessed and highly favored. There's so much going on in the mind that's going to lead the physical side of the body.
All day, every day.
Yeah, big time. All right, let's take a quick break there. Dr. Doug Arvanitis, I know you got a meeting to get to. Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank
What's
you for
the
having
website?
www.prohealthdoc.com.
ProHealthDoc.com. All right, coming up more with Alex BlackBelt Lima here. Later on, we got Alex Ritchie in the House Mold Solutions. Going to talk about indoor air quality and more coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show online at consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real
Brandon
estate.
Rhymes here in studio with Alex BlackBelt Lima. We're going to talk with him in just a minute. A couple of hot listings here. We always feature our properties on air. It's our strategy to help sellers sell faster for more money as well. We got a property at 5642 Egrets Place. This one's in Newport Ritchie. Beautiful home, gated community, gorgeous property. You have a heated pool with a waterfall feature, private backyard, pavers, multiple balconies, a water view across the street. You even have an elevator inside this home. Beautiful property, elevator access from the garage. 5642 Egrets Place, Newport Ritchie, Florida. 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3,000 square feet, quarter-acre lot. Beautiful property here in Tampa Bay. Also, let's look at this one at 140 92nd Avenue, Treasure Island. This one's in Pinellas County. Gorgeous property, just a couple of blocks from the beach at 140 92nd Avenue, Treasure Island. This one is an exceptional investment opportunity. You've got 2 renovated cottages on an oversized lot, just 1.5 blocks from the beautiful beaches of Gulf of Mexico, the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters. You have a cottage that's 140 available turnkey. It's a great opportunity here, great investment. You can see all of our listings, platinummvpteam.kw.com. Check out platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it there.
All right, Alex Lima, BlackBelt Fitness and Martial Arts, got a summer camp coming up for the kids on the positive side.
It's already started, actually. We're doing the summer camp now. It's awesome. We got like 20 something kids. Families take vacations and stuff throughout the summer. So, but with American Top Team Tampa, my home team there. Yeah, it's great. My daughter's there training. We got an art teacher that comes through. She really cool, actually. She comes through. She brings everything for the kids. We do it, she chose to stay with the martial arts theme because she trains like Muay Thai and stuff too. So like the very first art class, all the kids were painting and decorating boxing gloves.
Nice.
And then they did like koi fish, just staying with the Asian theme and martial arts and stuff and everything. So cool. It's amazing, because it's arts. Everybody, when they think martial arts, they think about just the fighting aspect or like the strength and physicality of it. But it's always, for me, I've always approached it like a science, and then other people just love the art side of it. The actual, just like it's a form of meditation, and for me, it's the highest and best form of meditation, physical movement. So
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to be said for that. Absolutely. So we have our feel-good story coming up. 5-year-old becomes youngest ever to receive a bionic arm and is overjoyed to ride a scooter with 2 hands. So pretty cool story coming up on the positive side. Got to touch on a couple of current events here. This one is staying on the fitness topic. You ever hear of this place, 24-Hour Fitness? Mm-hmm. Here's a clip.
24-Hour Fitness is now joining the crew. These gyms are pandering to 0.0001% of the population that value things like critical theory or gender expression. It's nonsense. 24-Hour Fitness released an internal memo to their staff members advising that BLM and pride symbols are always, at all times, approved forms of freedom of expression, but the American flag and U.S. logos or any sort of paraphernalia that screams Americana, these are only allowed to be worn on the holidays.
Only allowed to be worn on the holidays. So American flags, like I've got here on my shirt today, cannot be worn on a daily at 24-Hour Fitness only. But if you do have the BLM logo, the Pride, the CRT, any of this 0.001% of the population that wants it. So it's another example of these corporations just jamming stuff down their employees' throats.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I have not been a fan of commercial gyms for a long time, and now they have further emphasized my point. It's just so nonsense, like to always push this stuff down our throats. Like in the end, like, and I hate to even say the name. Maybe I won't say the name. I'll say there was a adult beverage company that had a person being a spokesperson or whatever they want to call themselves, whatever nouns and adjectives or whatever color they want to identify as. For what? For political reasons? Never in the history of politics has like a beer campaign made a difference about who's voting. So why push it? And especially, for such at the time, it was such an American drink.
Yeah, exactly.
True. So it's just so dumb. They're alienating themselves for the dumbest reasons. And what's even dumber than that is like this 24-Hour Fitness. Yeah. The people that have already seen that tactic fail. Yeah. Because that stock plummeted.
They're repeating it.
And then it's like, we're going to do it too. Show them we're on board.
There was another gym that did that too, wasn't it? I forgot the name of the other gym, but there was another gym that was just in the news lately.
Some outspoken thing, and it's like these people are reminding me of like the band in Titanic. That's like, the ship's burning. Let's play. Hey, you need a trumpet player? Let's go.
Yeah. Here's another one I wanted to get to on our limited amount of time. But, we've all heard about this open border, and we know the drugs, we know the prostitution, we know the human trafficking that's coming through. But this is an interesting take that I found about the jobs. How many jobs?
Since 2019, 971,000 more U.S.-born Americans are employed than there were in 2019. But in that same time frame, 3.2 million more immigrants are employed. And by the way, this study is actually being generous on the employment numbers.
I'm going to pause there. So 971 more since 2019 employers or U.S. born employed. Okay, 971. But when you flip it, it's 3.2 million immigrants employed. So what is the ploy here, right? What is the corporate class? A lot of it's the corporate class, like we just talked about with the 24-hour fitness and these corporations. But now, and I'll continue the clip, but it's a lot about these people. Where are they working at? Whose jobs are they taking?
To American-born employees, because this is a blend of full-time and part-time. And if you'll notice right now, the full-time jobs are actually dwindling while part-time work is massively expanding for native-born Americans.
So that's another issue, too. The full-time jobs that are being pushed in and converted to part-time jobs. A lot of that's to avoid Obamacare, I think, as well, going back to the Obamacare era. But final thought, back to you, Alex.
It's wrong. Those jobs belong to Americans.
Yep.
They belong to Americans. They belong to people that it's their house. Americans, or, I'll even put a little caveat in there, people that have been actively working to migrate the correct way and have been following due process to become an American citizen.
Exactly.
Those jobs belong to us and them. Okay?
That's right.
Not people who just randomly busted in through the door for political reasons just because you want to give them the power to vote so you can stay in office when you shouldn't be there to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Busting through the door and bringing drugs, bringing crime. I've heard a lot about outbreaks of measles and things like that too. They're not testing. Remember how radical they were about testing for, you gotta get all your testing done before
I'm sure
you go
they
to
all
school.
had their COVID shots. So
yeah, they
okay.
all have it. I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. All right, Alex, BlackBelt Lima. Check them out online. How do they follow you, Alex?
At BlackBelt_fitness on the gram, or just look me up, Alex. BlackBelt Lima, BlackBelt Jones. You can see me at Brio too. Come check us out this Thursday.
We'll be there. Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza, Thursday, 6 o'clock. Come on out. Coming up, Alex Ritchie, Mold Solutions on the Quarterback Show, as well as our feel-good story of the day. 5-year-old becomes youngest ever to receive a bionic arm. Feel-good story of the day coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here in studio. Alex Ritchie in the house, CEO Mold Solutions, indoor air quality. We're going to talk about that and dive deep on that topic as well. Coming up here on the show. Plus, we got our feel-good story of the day. Every day we like to tell you something positive here. And we have a 5-year-old boy that becomes the youngest ever to receive a bionic arm. Find out about that coming up here in just a minute. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We got a property at Skybird Road in Bradenton. This one's 7325 Skybird Road, Unit 399. This is Manatee County. Great opportunity to own real estate. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 1-car garage, open floor plan, 1520 square foot condo with water views. You have lake view there. You have it's completely remodeled within the last year. You got a new AC, washer, dryer, freshly painted, as well as beautiful flooring. And I love the amenities at this condo. 81-foot style, lagoon-style heated pool. You have a clubhouse, fitness center, and more at 7325 Skybird Road, Unit 399 in Bradenton. 8333 New York Avenue in Hudson. Now, this is an example of one of our commercial listings. We've got commercial properties, we got residential, we got mixed use, vacant land as well. This one, I would call it a commercial because you've got income coming in. You've got a lot of cash flowing in. Just under $6,000 a month coming in. There's 3 single-family homes on this parcel, over an acre of land. You have income potential for parking RVs, for parking boats, parking other things as well. 8333 New York Avenue in Hudson, 1.5 acre lot, beautiful property, multiple income streams coming in from that property. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Check out platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Alex Ritchie back in studio. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure. Yep. So, we talk a lot about, we have another, one of our expert contributors that comes on, and he talks about, Fred DeFelice talks about water quality, waterscience.us. And I think right up there with water quality is your indoor air quality. It's one of those things you don't really see it. It's there. We're breathing it in. But how important is indoor air quality?
So, honestly, we're all running around with our bodies and going through all this different stuff. And what is it that you cannot live without? Is air.
Yeah.
It's just
the shortest amount of time, right?
Yeah, literally like a couple minutes and that's it.
You're done.
So one of the key things that we take a look at with regards to the indoor air quality at Mold Solutions is, yes, there is mold. There's the toxicity from mold spores and mycotoxins and so forth, as I'm sure we've kind of covered in the past.
Yep.
But really, that's really because of the air that you're breathing.
Yeah.
A lot of our leads actually come from different doctors and so forth that are actually taking people through detoxifications and actually trying to get those mold toxicities out of their body because they're already planted in there. And we come in and say, okay, cool. You're handling the stuff that's inside your body right now. Let's make sure that you're not just in an environment that's just continually bombarding you with those same toxins. Because it's like, cool, you can flush it out. And if you're in the same environment, it's just going to come back again.
Terrible. Yeah.
And really, it's like, great, you can have this mold that you see growing in your shower, in your air conditioner, whatever. And that's great, it's over there. And as soon as it's actually aerosolized and actually hitting you and getting inside your body, that's where it really, hits close to home, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because now it's actually affecting your health. You're getting headaches, you're getting joint aches, you're getting all those different kind of histamine reactions because of this, toxin that's literally living in your house.
Yeah. It's a terrible situation because sometimes people don't realize it's there. It's hiding behind the baseboards. It's hiding behind the sheetrock. It can happen. Actually, it happened to us. We had a infestation. My wife Lindsay and I had an opportunity to build our dream home, and we built on a beautiful lake. We're waterfront, so I contacted Brandon. I'm like, wait, I think I may have mold. Is that possible? This is a newer home. We were literally in the house for like a year and a half, 2 years. So I can tell you from firsthand experience that Mold Solutions is a first-class organization. You actually came in, did the whole treatment on it. I'll let you describe the treatment because I can't remember exactly what all went into it. But you're talking about cleaning the vents. You're talking about cleaning the property. And of course, the actual location of the infestation of mold.
Yeah, so really what we do in terms of the actual sequence of events and so forth is we first find out where it's coming from. It's not just like okay, cool, we just cleaned it all off and that looks great and we're out of here. But it's like, why is this problem existing?
Yeah.
Find the why, handle that, whether that's ripping out a piece of drywall that had gotten wet due to a leak and now you've got a moldy piece of drywall, or whatever it is, finding that, getting rid of that, getting that outside of your house, then actually treating it with, something that's going to now sanitize that area specifically. And then a lot of cases, because that has now shot off spores and off-gassed and so forth, that's now also living in your air handler.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the air that you're breathing 24/7. Great. So we actually, get into there, get that handled, get that cleaned out, sanitized, get those ducts, like you said, cleaned out so that the actual pathways, the arteries of that air to your house are cleaned out. And then we actually do a dry fog, which is, a mixture of vinegar and hydrogen peroxide mixed together that actually will eat away at the actual cell of that mold so that it becomes totally inert. And when we really are dealing with sensitized individuals, we even follow along with a micro cleaning. Like you've probably seen microfiber rags, over the years and so forth. Now, when those are brand new, they got that static electricity to them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And if you actually wipe over a surface with that static electricity will actually grab onto those little spores and micro small particles and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Pick it up and actually get it outside of your house. Which, for a sensitized individual, that's really key because, especially with those mycotoxins, cool, it's killed off, but sometimes they can still react to those particles. So really just getting that out of the environment in any way, shape, or form, and that redundancy going over and really making sure it's clean. It's like, making sure you have a clean room for somebody that's going to go get a surgery. You don't want some dirty piece of something inside your surgery room.
Right.
You're like, there's stuff that's going to enter my body.
Yeah.
Why have that for your home?
Yeah, exactly. Like you see in the old Westerns, you're like, oh no, they're going to cut them open with that dirty thing on the old Westerns or whatever, those old shows. If you just joined us, we're talking with Alex Ritchie here. He's the CEO, Mold Solutions. We're talking indoor quality. We're talking about getting the mold out of your home, your real estate. A lot of people, especially this time of year, Alex, we're going into the hurricane season and the dreaded summer months here. The humidity's super high. A lot of what I've found over the years, been in real estate for 20 years now, is I've found a lot of the folks, a lot of the snowbirds, people that were just born in the northern states, they don't really understand how harmful that humidity is. They'll just leave their homes, they'll lock them up, turn air conditioning off, and that's one of the worst things you can do for the single family home or condo townhome. Yes, between locking those up and basically kind of suffocating your house, turning off the AC, going like, oh, I don't want my electricity bill to go out the roof. Right. But it's sort of like, we live in a swamp. You got to kind of do that. Yeah. And between that and another unfortunate thing I see a lot of snowbirds do, they go, oh, it's so hot and stuffy, I'm going to open up all the windows. There you go. Right. And, mold can grow at 60% humidity and higher. And you know how much humidity we got outside? Normally, 79. So it's like, here, come on inside the humidity. Here's a great place to hang out. Yeah, so that 79, I'm glad you went there, because that 79%, is that during these summer months or is it during the spring? Because I think during the spring, sometimes you can get away with that, right? So it's during the spring, so like this last spring was a real fluke. I've never seen it that dry. A nicer, cooler, dry. It was dry, great. Yeah. It was dry. For a couple hours, usually during the hottest time of that day, it was actually dropped down to 57, 56% humidity. And I was like, wow, are we in California all of a sudden? What happened? Yeah. But generally, even during our colder months, it still is sitting around 60%. Yeah. So it's honestly never really a great idea here in Florida, because like I said, we live in a swamp. Got it. But so you're actually inviting these contaminants, this mold, into your home, these spores, because it only starts with a small spore, right? Well, honestly, there's spores everywhere. In this room, there's plenty of spores. It just doesn't have the three things that it needs. It needs oxygen, it needs some kind of nutrient, which we have plenty in here. You got dust, you got building materials, and so forth. And as soon as you got enough water, boom, it's locked and loaded. Got it. Okay. Yeah, those are some good tips there. We're talking with Alex Ritchie, Mold Solutions, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's the CEO. And over the years, too, I've talked to Brandon on the show, and we've talked about how if you were to touch and try to clean it yourself, it'll basically just spread. It's reactionary trigger move, right? Is to basically, hey, they're trying to kill me. I'm going to spread. Exactly. I mean, mold is a living organism. And like anything in this world that is a living organism, it has its own reproduction and defense mechanisms. Certain, like an octopus is going to shoot out ink at you. A skunk is going to spray you. Yeah. So as soon as you go, oh, cool, let me just start to agitate this and try to get rid of it, it's going to first go, well, I better continue on into the future. I got to create progeny, and that's going to be the spores. And if it thinks that it's in danger, like you're trying to kill it, it's going to be, oh, I'm got to attack you back, which is those mycotoxins, myco being the Greek word for, mold and, fungi, and toxin obviously being something toxic. So it's actually mold's way of attacking other molds that are encroaching on its area, and it going, get out of here, Jack. Got it. So, yeah, that's what we're breathing in when we're actually trying to, scrub away something. Yeah, absolutely. And when you originally start this process, does it start with a home inspection? Is that something you offer? So, yeah, we actually basically will go in for free and actually do an inspection of the home and go, cool, here's what we actually see. We have all, the different tricks of the trade and going, great, we can actually visibly see this,
looks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Even we, as a professional mold remediation company, cannot legally say that is mold. The only person who can actually do that is a mold assessor who takes a sample and sends it to a laboratory, gets that back, and then they can now legally say that is mold, that's how much it is, and so forth. So we actually stay in very tight coordination with many of the different mold inspectors around the area of going, hey, this looks pretty bad, but we actually want to make sure we know what it is, how much it is. Go in there, take your tests, let us know what we actually got to do here.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back more with Alex Ritchie, Mold Solutions on the Consumer Quarterback Show, plus our feel-good story of the day. You don't want to miss this one. This one's about a 5-year-old boy who becomes the youngest ever to receive a bionic arm, and he is overjoyed to ride his scooter with 2 hands. Pretty cool story coming up here. Feel-good story of the day coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Lindsay Rhymes here. My husband Brandon and I own the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams, and our team of seasoned agents is ready to help you buy, sell, invest, and love the life you live here in Tampa Bay. Communication, execution, customer service, and bulletproofing transactions are really where our team shines. We service Hillsborough, Pinellas, Manatee, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus counties, and we have seasoned agents in residential, luxury land, and commercial divisions. Reach out to us, your Christian realtors, and let us help empower you with the right knowledge to make smart decisions with your next transaction. Call us at 727-263-3707 today. Again, that number is 727-263-3707.
Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. You can reach me at 727-263-3707. Call or text 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, we're back here in studio, and thank you for sticking with us here. Alex Ritchie in studio, Mold Solutions CEO, coming up here, and also feel-good story of the day in just a minute. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. Our real estate team helps our sellers sell faster for more money by maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of their real estate properties. 7919 New York Avenue in Hudson. We actually have 3 listings now on New York Avenue in Hudson, kind of coincidentally there. But this one is an opportunity in Hudson, Florida, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,300 square feet. You got a commercial property that's also versatile. It can be utilized as a comfortable residence as well. 0.33 acre lot, close to US 19, zone C1 per Pasco County Public Records, and it's a great opportunity dedicated for business office, making it ideal for entrepreneurs who want the convenience of working from home. That's 7919 New York Avenue in Hudson, another one of our beautiful property listings. 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Petersburg. This is Pinellas County, 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South. This one's 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2236 square feet. Culinary enthusiast will delight in the fully renovated kitchen, open floor plan. Beautiful property. I've actually been in this home. It's gorgeous. You have a wide open floor plan, beautiful kitchen. Close to the Skyway Bridge, great proximity to the beaches as well. 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South, St. Petersburg, Florida. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com.
Tell me something good.
All right, every day we'd like to tell you something positive here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. This one's 5-year-old boy becomes youngest ever to receive a bionic arm, and he's overjoyed to ride his scooter with 2 hands. So he's a 5-year-old boy. Jordan Marotta became the youngest to be fitted. He was born with 1 hand, given the Iron Man themed hero arm prosthetic. His mother, Ashley Marotta, approached Open Bionics, the company that makes the prosthetics, when Jordan was questioning why his hand had not grown back. After a successful trial, they agreed to fit him at their New York offices. Jordan was able to ride his scooter with confidence, and his mother, Ashley, was encouraged as well by this. Jordan's mother found out that she had a missing left hand during a 20-week pregnancy scan, and found comfort in learning about other children who had thrived in similar situations. And she was lucky. Her health insurance covered the cost of the arm, and Jordan was ready using it day one. So there you have it. Feel-good story of the day. And I love those feel-good stories, Alex. And those are, when you think about those types of situations, man, there's a lot of good things that can happen with medical and the technology side.
Absolutely. And that boy is so blessed, and he looks very, very happy with his Iron Man themed little hand there. He's like, all right.
He's cool, man.
He's ready to rock and roll.
He's going to be cool now, right? He's going to have that extra look at his school and his after-school activities. Who knows, Alex? Maybe you can get him out there, get him in some wrestling or something like that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've trained people in the past that have that we'll say handicaps. I've worked with people with I have a person that I train currently that had a traumatic brain injury, and they don't have from head to toe. I work with him every single week, and the improvements it pays dividends. So this stuff is for everybody. But man, good for that kid. That really touches my heart every time I see it's crazy how something so small, not small. It's a massive thing. It's monumental. But the bionic arm technology is amazing, but can take one thing from that one element can take where this kid could potentially have been ridiculed his entire life and faced all these challenges to now he's like a superstar. Every kid that sees him is going to be like, hey, dude, what's up with that, man? What is that? Like, can you crush watermelons? Like, he's going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
If he starts training at your place, I am definitely not receiving a left hook from that one.
Definitely not.
Exactly.
I love it.
It's cool. And things we take for granted, I think, is another way to look at it.
Absolutely,
right? We take it for granted. And actually just recently heard a story of a family member, and it's a situation where there's 2 fingers missing, so it's another similar story. It's like, wow, man, it kind of hits you. You're like, wow, man, things can really happen like that. So, hey, good news there. That's our feel-good story, and the insurance covered it. That's a little bit of a surprise.
Huge. I was shocked when you said that part as well. I was like, and you know what? I've always said, why wouldn't it? That is something that can improve the quality of life for an individual. Why would they not? Like, why would a prosthesis not be covered? It's ridiculous for it not to be.
That's right. All right, Alex, Ritchie, talking mold solutions. And this time of year, we got a rainy season. We got some good rain dumped on us. I think there's flooding going on in South Florida. When you have these flooding situations, I think it's more of just a red flag. Like, hey, you got to be careful about your home and keeping things dry.
Yes, absolutely. So when we actually get really big storms, and even if it's as big as just a very heavy rain like what just happened, most of South Florida is looking at, 20 inches or something like that in 24 hours. And even as close as Sarasota is, sitting in some very heavy water right now.
Yeah. Miami's already flooding. There were cars underwater and stuff and everything.
Oh, yeah. It's like trading your car for a submarine.
Mm-hmm.
And, those places are like, oh my God, we really need help right now.
Yep.
And when things like that hit in our area around here, even as far away as Sarasota, we really kind of flip gears and we go into dry out mode.
Yeah.
Because we also, a lot of the equipment that we use in mold solutions is used originally for the drying type of situations.
Removal of water.
And as you can kind of see my hat here from Reach Drying Academy, that's where I got all my certifications for both water remediation and mold remediation. And it's just like, cool, now we need to switch into, hurricane mode and just dry it all out, handle these people's homes because, some people have to go and evacuate their homes.
Yeah.
Then they come back and their house has standing water in it. And they're like, what happened to my beautiful home that, it's anywhere from $500,000 to millions of dollars. And like, that's their life.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we need immediate response, get out there, dry out the home, and handle these situations so they don't get worse, because the longer it sits, the more you then have structural damage, mold intrusion, all that kind of bad stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Moldsolutions.com.
I have a quick
online.
question on that, actually. If someone calls you and they do have some water damage, do you guys tell them, anything that they can start getting the process done? Like, hey, if you have a shop vac or a wet vac, we recommend doing it. Or, what do you kind of tell people in that situation?
Definitely, if there's anything that they can do to start actually getting that standing water out, whether it's a shop vac,
squeegees, whatever.
Squeegees, or just anything that you can lay your hands on to start getting that water out of there.
Okay. Good tip.
Because, the longer that water's there, the more
damage.
The more damage, and the more it's going to find little crooks and crevices and so forth, and just create more problems.
And then the mold starts incubating there, and then you get bigger problems.
Exactly.
Yeah, good stuff.
Moldsolutions.com. Check them out online at Alex Ritchie, moldsolutions.com. Wanted to try to squeeze this story in here. Amazon pledges $1.4 billion for housing. Kind of interesting, because technology companies are kind of a double-edged sword for many regions. They generate tax revenue, but they've also been criticized for inflating housing. So Amazon's trying to address that with a $1.4 billion investment in cities like Nashville, Seattle, Washington metro areas, according to Bloomberg. But the investment brings their equity fund to $3.6 billion. So, kind of an interesting. I have mixed thoughts about that, because here we are spending all this money with some of these tech companies, and then they turn out to be, the woke companies that aren't supporting our values, that are kind of going against us in a lot of cases. But I just thought that was kind of interesting, because there's a housing affordability issue, not only in the state of Florida but across the country right now. So it's kind of interesting. Final thought, back to you. How do you want people to connect?
Best way is through our website, moldsolutions.com, and just reach out with any situations that they got. Whether it be for air or, in the recent cases, flooding. I know that's going to be we're in that season.
Yep.
And they predict very bad hurricanes this year. So.
Yep. Absolutely. You can reach out to the show hotline as well, 727-263-3707. Call or text the show hotline, 727-263-3707. Think about the local economy and all of our expert contributors. We would love to help you there. Alex Ritchie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
And we had, of course, Dr. Doug Arvanitis as well as Alex BlackBelt Lima with us today. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you follow us online at BrandonRhymes1, at CQB Show, and, of course, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.